everyone is carrying something. You cannot tell just by looking. The person who smiles easily in the meeting. The friend who always seems to have it together. The stranger on the street who walks quickly, head down, who you pass without a second thought. Everyone is carrying something, and most of the time, we carry it alone, quietly, without anyone knowing the weight of it. Tonight, I want to talk about what we carry, where it comes from, what it costs us, and what becomes possible when we begin, gently, carefully, not all at once, to put some of it down. Hi, friends. Welcome back to English with Moon. We carry different things. Some of us carry grief, a loss that happened years ago and that the world expects us to be over, but that we are still, in quiet moments, navigating. The death of someone we loved, the end of something we believed in, the loss of a version of our life we had imagined. Some of us carry worry, a constant low-level hum about the future, about what might go wrong, what needs to be prepared for, what we might not be able to handle when it arrives. Some of us carry old wounds, things that were done to us, or said to us, or withheld from us in times when we had no power to protect ourselves. Childhood things, sometimes, or the things that happened in the years when we were trying to become ourselves and something got in the way. Some of us carry shame, the feeling that there is something fundamentally wrong with who we are, a secret conviction, carefully hidden, that if people truly knew us fully, completely, they would leave. Some of us carry other people's pain, the family member who is struggling, the friend in crisis, the relationship that requires so much of our emotional energy that there is very little left over for ourselves. We carry all of this, mostly without anyone knowing, mostly while also managing to show up, to function, to be present for our lives. That is, honestly, remarkable. But there is a cost to carrying things silently. It takes energy, more energy than we usually admit. The things we carry, the grief, the worry, the old wounds, the shame, they are not sitting passively inside us while we live our lives. They are active. They are running in the background. They are shaping how we interpret events, how we respond to people, how much energy we have at the end of the day. I want to tell you about a woman named Soo-Jin. Soo-Jin was a person who carried things silently. She had learned, too, her family had valued strength, composure, not burdening others. And she was very good at it. She went through years of difficulty, a complicated family situation, the end of a long relationship, her own quiet struggles with self-worth, and she managed all of it privately, presenting to the world a face of competence and calm. And then one day she just couldn't anymore. Not dramatically, not in a crisis. She simply sat down at her kitchen table one evening and found that she was too tired to get up. Not physically, something deeper. She said, I had been managing so carefully for so long that I had used up something I didn't have more of. She had not stopped. She had depleted. We tell a particular story about strength in our culture. The story says, strong people carry things quietly. They do not burden others. They handle their own pain. They show up for everyone else without showing what it costs them. This story has some value. Resilience is real. The capacity to endure is real. But it also has a shadow side. When we define strength as the ability to carry everything alone, we turn asking for help into a form of failure. We make vulnerability into something shameful. We create a world where everyone is carrying enormous weight in silence, because to admit the weight would be to admit weakness. And that is not strength. That is loneliness. True strength is not the absence of need. True strength is knowing what you need and having the courage to ask for it. It is the willingness to say, "This is heavy. I need some help carrying it." That is harder than pretending it isn't heavy. That takes more courage than silence. I also want to say something about where this story comes from. Many of us learned it very young. We learned it from watching the adults around us who carried things quietly, who did not ask for help, who handled their pain in private and presented a composed face to the world. We learned it because that was the model of strength we were given, not because anyone meant to harm us with it, but because they had learned the same story from the people before them. And so it passes, generation to generation. This particular way of being alone with the weight, competent on the outside, exhausted on the inside. Soo-Jin understood this when she finally began to examine it. She said, "My mother never asked for help. Not once that I can remember. And I loved her for her strength. But I also watched her disappear, slowly, under the weight of everything she carried alone. And I think I learned from her that that was what love looked like. That showing up meant never being the one who needed. Understanding where the story came from did not change it immediately, but it changed how she held it. Instead of, 'This is who I am,' she began to think, 'This is something I was taught, and I can choose now what I want to keep.' I am not going to tell you to simply put it all down. Life does not work that way. Some of what you carry, you will carry for a long time. Some of it, the grief for someone you loved, the history of your own story, you will carry always, though it will change shape over time. But there are some things worth considering. The first is, can you share it? Not with everyone, not publicly, but with one person, one safe person who can know what you are carrying and hold the knowledge with you. Because the nature of things carried alone is that they feel heavier in the dark. Brought into the light, even just the light of being witnessed by one person who cares, they often feel different. Soo-Jin, after her evening at the kitchen table, called a friend she trusted. She said simply, "I need to tell you that I've been struggling." And the friend listened. And Soo-Jin said, "I felt lighter before I had even finished the sentence. Not because anything changed, because someone else knew. The second is some of what you are carrying actually yours to carry?" We sometimes pick up weight that was never ours. Other people's expectations, other people's anxiety, other people's definition of who we should be. These things feel like our own. We have held them so long, but they were given to us, and we are allowed to examine them, to ask, do I actually believe this? Does this belong to me? The answer is sometimes surprising. The third is, can you name what you are carrying? Because there is something about nameless weight that makes it heavier. When we carry things without language, when we cannot even say what the thing is, because it is just a formless heaviness that follows us through our days, it tends to spread. It fills more space than it has a right to. It seeps into everything. But when you can say, I am carrying grief about this, I am carrying fear about that, I am carrying an old shame that I picked up at age 14 and have not yet put down, something shifts. Not because naming it fixes it, but because it gives the thing a shape. And things with shapes can be dealt with. They can be seen, examined, held at arm's length for a moment, and considered. They can be brought to a therapist, or a trusted friend, or a quiet moment of honest self-reflection. Nameless things cannot be put down. Named things sometimes can. Soo-Jin spent several evenings doing exactly this. Just writing. Not to anyone, just to herself. Naming what she was carrying, one thing at a time. She said, I had been carrying it all in one undifferentiated pile. Once I started naming each piece separately, I realized some of it was very old, and some of it wasn't even mine. And that was the beginning of something. For the things that are truly yours, the grief, the history, the struggles that are genuinely part of your story, I want to offer something small. Carry them more gently, not more secretly, not more alone, more gently, the way you would carry something precious and fragile that you were moving from one place to another. With attention, with care, without pretending it weighs nothing. When the grief surfaces, let it surface for a little while, instead of immediately trying to push it down. When the worry arrives, speak it out loud to yourself, name it, give it a form, rather than letting it run formlessly in the background. When the old wound aches, and it will sometimes, even after years, don't berate yourself for still feeling it. Just acknowledge, this is something I carry. It is part of my story. I am learning slowly to carry it differently. The moon carries its own darkness. Every month, there are nights when it is barely visible. It does not resist this. It does not force itself to be full when it isn't. It simply moves through the dark nights, knowing that the light will return. you are allowed to move through the dark nights too. I want to spend a moment on the second question I raised earlier. Is some of what you are carrying actually yours to carry? Because I think many of us are carrying things that were handed to us, not given by someone who meant harm, often given by people who loved us very much and simply did not know they were passing along a burden along with the love. The parents' worry, which became your worry about the world. The family shame that was never spoken but was always present, absorbed through the atmosphere of home. The expectation that you would be the responsible one, the successful one, the one who did not add to anyone's difficulties. The message, subtle, repeated, never directly stated, that your needs were less important than other people's, and that asking for things was selfish. These things are not yours. They were given to you, and you are allowed, gently, gradually, without dramatic ceremony, to put them down. This is not disloyalty to the people who gave them to you. It is not a rejection of your history or your family. It is the recognition that you picked up things that were too heavy for the small person who first received them, and that you are now old enough and aware enough to examine what you are carrying and decide deliberately what you want to continue holding. Soo-Jin, after her evening at the kitchen table, began to do exactly this. Not in therapy. She did not have access to therapy at the time, but in conversations with her sister, in writing late at night, in the quiet of noticing, this feeling I have, this obligation I feel, this weight, where did it come from? Does it actually belong to me? Would I give it to someone I love? The questions changed things, slowly, incompletely, but things shifted. I want to say something directly to you. Dear friend, I know you are carrying something. I don't know what it is, but I know it's there. In the way your shoulders set themselves, in the moments between things, when you let yourself stop for a second and feel what is actually present. I want to say something about the weight. You have been carrying it very well, better than you know, better than you give yourself credit for. And I also want to say, you don't have to carry all of it alone. Not all of it, not always, not as the primary definition of what makes you strong. You are allowed to tell someone what is heavy. You are allowed to put down the things that were given to you rather than chosen by you. You are allowed to carry what is yours more gently, more honestly, more openly than you have been. The things you carry are part of your story. They are not your whole story, and they do not have to be hidden. You have carried enough for long enough alone. It is okay to ask for help with the weight, with so much care. Moon. 3 things worth taking with you. Everyone is carrying something. The person who looks like they have it together. The friend who always shows up for everyone else, including you. What you carry is real, and it takes energy. Acknowledge that. True strength is not carrying everything alone in silence. It is knowing what you need and asking for it. Tell one safe person what is heavy. Sharing weight is not weakness. It is one of the bravest things you can do. And carry what is yours more gently, not more secretly, more honestly, more openly, more kindly. The way you would carry something that matters, with attention, with care, without pretending it weighs nothing. Thank you for being here tonight. This is English with Moon, and I am aware, as I close, that some of you are carrying something significant right now, and that choosing to spend this hour here, in this quiet place, was an act of care for yourself. I hope it helped a little. Share this with someone who you know is carrying something in silence. If you're comfortable, tell me in the comments, what is one thing you are carrying tonight? You do not have to carry it alone here. And come back next time. Until then, carry yourself gently. Good night, friends.